When we think of sports in schools, we usually think of competition, performance, and fitness. But perhaps what sports shape is much deeper than that. Hi, I'm Yara Mazen, and in this episode of Education Reimagined, we will be exploring this with Liam, the Director of Sport and Enrichment. Hi, Liam. It's a pleasure having you on this episode of Education Reimagined.
Hi, Yara. Thanks for having me.
So sports is usually viewed as an extracurricular activity, but I don't think this is the same view that you see sports in Uppingham Cairo. Why is sports essential?
So sports is essential for building character and life skills for pupils. It's so much more than an extra or a co-curricular. It's a really powerful vehicle for teaching pupils resilience, teamwork, communication skills, all of those things they can explore through sport and develop in the right hands.
And those characters or those attributes cannot be taught within the classroom, they're taught on the field?
They're taught on the field and they come into their own on the field. Teamwork and communication, resilience, they all are driven out on the sports field.
Can actually sports be impactful for all students, even if they don't become athletes?
Great question. So yeah, the focus for us and our pupils at Uppingham Cairo is participation based. So we want as many people to play and move as possible. The more people we have playing, the more healthy and active our pupils will be. And then we hope that they'll take that into life after school. So it's a sport for life approach and it's based on participation. So as many people playing as possible, and we allow them all to participate in whatever they would like to participate in. That's one of our unique points is we're not selective about what our pupils play. We allow them to play what they want to play, and we allow them to play as many times as they want to play per week as well.
And I've also known that Uppingham Cairo have like a multi sport system.
So yeah, that fits in again with participation. So we're trying to give our pupils as many opportunities to experience as many different sports as possible. So our PE curriculum is a multi-sport offering, which is really broad and it gives them exposure to lots of different sports. And the hope and the ethos behind that is that they take skills from each sport and then they can transfer them into any setting. They're transferable skills from each sport. They can put them into whatever sport they're playing and succeed. That's what we're trying to achieve, to give them the tools to be able to go into any setting, draw from their experience and be successful.
Yeah. And you have like a wide spectrum of like, even in the PE curriculum of the school itself, you have a wide spectrum of sports.
Yeah, so we offer a wide variety of sports, from football, basketball, touch rugby, gymnastics, tennis, squash, handball, swimming. We can keep going. Yeah. We offer a lot.
And you don't have like when in the early years you don't have a criteria for each child.
In what respect?
No, like at the students, they're allowed to pick and choose whatever sports they want to play, or how does that work?
So there's two parts to that. In the curriculum, it's designed in PE, so they get exposure to all of the sports and they're set through. In our day boarding program, they're allowed to choose. And we offer 7 sporting academies and they can choose from those academies and they can play as many times as they would like per week. And that's dependent on them and the level of participation and engagement they want. They can start to do that from 5 years old.
And you were talking about their transferring skills. So am I saying it correctly?
Transferable skills. Yeah.
Yes, you were talking about the transferable skills. So having kids specialize in one sport early on can really limit those.
Yeah, so in my opinion, it can. And I think specialisation too early in sport can be a limiting factor in overall performance because it doesn't allow you to draw on other sporting experiences. We encourage all of our pupils to have a diverse range of sports which they actively engage in. And I think drawing from those different skills and environments allows them to then focus and develop better in a sport which they choose when it's the right time for them. And we're here as well to help them do that and guide them and nurture them in the right direction. I think that's a really important aspect of what we offer.
So I'm so happy you're talking about that, because I want to touch on the coaching philosophy. Like, what is the coaching philosophy that you guys have?
So again, we'll link back to participation though. We want as many pupils to engage and participate in as many sports as possible, but the main focus for us is that they're in an environment where they feel safe and they're nurtured, and we can develop them in that environment and help them emotionally succeed in whatever aspect they want.
And like, do you as coaches, do you have certain criteria that you can help the students move from being exposed to all the sports into a specialization?
So once we identify pupils who are in a situation where we think they can develop their skills further, we allow them and we guide them to do that. But that's something we offer collectively as a coaching team, but also we involve them from a very, very early age in the expectations which are clear to develop within sport. And that's something we would talk to parents about, we would talk to pupils about, and that's something we guide them through the journey. But we still offer and allow them to play as many sports as possible until we feel it's the right time to specialise in a sole sport. And then at that stage, we're then able to help and guide them into those settings. But the levels of competition we offer within school, inter-school and intra-school, allows us to help them develop as well in those settings, and we can then see how they are performing in competitive settings.
And that happens as they move through the pathways, as they grow older within the school.
Yeah, so it happens as they grow older through the school. They will naturally develop, once they've developed physically, they naturally develop into a position where they can really take on their sport, and we're here to guide them in that scenario. With the younger pupils, we try and allow them to focus on many sports, but inevitably they will specialise in one, but we're here to help them when they do.
And is your target to have athletes?
Everybody's target would be to have athletes, but again, I'll draw back onto that participation focus. We want as many people playing as many things as possible, but with that comes performance-based in the end. So we will have performance-based players, and we already do in certain areas. We've seen strong development in our sporting programs and in our performance from pupils.
I'm sure the more students participate, the more percentage that you would find stars within them.
It's a pyramid. A pyramid setting is the base level is participation, and then as you move through is where you get towards performance at the top, and inevitably the more you have at the bottom layer, the more will come through at the top as well, with the right guidance and nurturing, which is really important.
Which is basically your coaching philosophy.
It is, yeah.
So I think it works well. You know? I think competitive sports is always correlated with pressure and maybe a little bit, it's a bit challenging maybe. How do you go by supporting the students through that?
So competitive settings, as you've acknowledged, it comes with pressure, and it's something which pupils from an early age can find difficult to deal with. But I think what we do at Uppingham Cairo is we have the day boarding program, which allows us to have extra time with our pupils. Our coaches coach within the curriculum. They also coach in the day boarding setting as well. So the familiarity of those coaches and the relationships they build with our pupils allows them to feel emotionally safe and secure in that pressured environment, and that then nurtures them to go through with the coach in that relationship as well, and that helps for our pupils to develop in a positive way. It builds their character, and it fits together very well with the amount of time they can have with coaches and pupils and the guidance they're able to offer them.
I think it's very interesting that the number one thing you just said, and emotional safety is the number one criteria to actually have high performance within a pressure or a competitive scenario.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have thought of that.
I think if you're not emotionally safe, you're not going to get the best from yourself. And there's two ways it can go. It can, if you're given the right support, it can build your character, resilience. You'll see performance improve. If you're not given the right support, it will go in a negative way. And that's why I feel like it's so important, emotional support and safety of the pupils when they're competing in sport and in pressured environments. It has to be the main focus for us.
I'm sure in administering this system of emotional safety, and you can see, I'm sure you could see have examples of transformational stories.
Yeah, so
like after creating that, maybe.
Yeah, I think our pupil body as a whole is a transformation on when they first arrived. The emotional safety we've provided with them through the sporting program, it's allowed them to develop in performance, and we can see that it's across the board. But we have specific examples of tennis players who are competing nationally. With the support and the guidance they've had in place, they're able to develop their skills, and it's had a real impact on their performance, and we can see that.
Yeah, because of the emotional, like you've witnessed the emotional growth.
We've witnessed that, yeah. The coaches and the pupils together going through that relationship stage of working together inside school, and also we support our pupils outside school when they compete. It creates a bond which it increases performance, and it has a real positive impact on performance.
That's fantastic. I think that idea of belonging kind of takes me into another thing that I was introduced to here in Uppingham Cairo. It's the housing, the house system.
Yes, so the house system we have.
Oh, the house system, yes.
Yeah, so it comes, we've taken 4 houses from Uppingham, UK, Brooklands, Fairfield, Farley and Johnson's, and all of our pupils are then split into houses from the nursery through to the 4th form. What that creates is a sense of belonging and a sense of a family orientation. So all of our pupils are in houses together, and they compete in events together throughout the academic year. So from nursery to 4th form, they compete together, they support each other, and they see each other grow and develop. Our youngest pupils can see our oldest pupils, and it gives them something to work towards and people to look up to as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's like a very special environment is created even between the houses. Like
it creates another layer of competition as well between the houses, but the ethos which the house system creates is a family-based, caring environment where they can feel nurtured inside school.
Yes, but like the competition between the houses, does it ever go sour?
No. It's all healthy competition. It's all healthy competition, but they are competitive. They want to win. And we have a house cup at the end of the year, which is all the events added together. And then we give out the house cup on speech day at the end of the year. So there'll be a winning house for the whole year, which is hugely competitive.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You said you've touched on healthy competition. What is healthy competition?
Healthy competitions is creating an environment for pupils to compete in, which allows them to feel like they're experiencing success. They need to feel like they're experiencing success, but they also need to build resilience as well. So if they don't win, they need to understand that it's okay not to win.
Yeah, and
there'll be another opportunity.
I think that's I think the idea that it's both a beautiful learning opportunity, whether you win or lose. You know?
It is. It's a learning opportunity, and it's about how you move on to the next setting. Whether you win or lose, it's how you will conduct yourself in the next opportunity.
Yeah, I love that.
Which is the main focus.
And at the end of the day, it's a whole trajectory, or it's a whole journey.
It is, yeah, and it's encouraging pupils to look at that journey reflectively, whether they win or lose, it's the same. You will go back again into that setting and you will still try and do better.
Yeah, I like that. It's really nice also to have students feel that they're part of something bigger than themselves. I'm sure that's very impactful, but can you tell me how it has impacted the students?
Yeah, so the pupils, when they get that sense of something being bigger than themselves, it really allows them to immerse themselves into it fully, and then it gets the best out of them. They can see what we're trying to achieve, they can see the bigger picture, and it allows them to fully immerse themselves into what's happening, and you get the best from them in that scenario.
Yeah, I think at this day and age, if community is very important, because I think there's a lot of like modern lifestyle now, or progressive, with the phones and the like it's usually you and your phone, so it's very individualistic. So being part of something bigger and being part of a community, I think it must be really wonderful for the students.
Yeah, I think it is for the students, and the extended day we offer as well gives them more time here. We have a no phone policy within school, so when students arrive, we take their phones off them.
Yeah.
And when they're here, they're solely focused on the people who are here. And as you've acknowledged, that sense of community, the relationships they build, they're lasting, and we see a real positive impact in the way we do things.
Yeah, I think there's also another layer that that really adds to all of what you were saying about community and belonging and mentorship. It's the gappies.
Yes.
But first you need to tell me, what does that mean?
Okay, so the gappies we have from Uppingham, UK. So, and they're actually in a gap between school or university.
That's why they're called the gappies?
That's why they're called the gappies, yeah. But they're a real integral part of what we do at Uppingham Cairo. They bridge the gap between pupils and staff members, because they're the closest to age to the pupils. So they look up to them, and they see that they've come through the system themselves in the UK, and it creates a real bond between the pupils and the gappies, and the relationships are really positive, which they create. When we first started, the gappies were the house captains in each house.
Yeah.
Which also helped bridge that gap as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure they kind of had the ethos to transfer how the ideology of houses work, and
yeah, they had first-hand experience from Uppingham UK, so they were able to bring that here and bring that house spirit straight into Uppingham Cairo, and it's really helped us develop the house system here.
I can't help but think of Harry Potter with the house systems. I keep going back to it. So I think there's something very special about Uppingham Cairo when it comes to the day boarding and the time, the architecture of time. How does this play within the scope of sport and all of the philosophy of sports that you've been discussing?
So yeah, you touched on it there with the time. That's crucial, is the time we get with our pupils. The extended day we offer, pupils from 5s upwards can stay till 7 p.m. and then when they're in the senior school, they can stay till 9 p.m. That time allows them to develop in whichever avenue they really feel like they want to develop in. The day boarding system offers them time to do homework within schools, supervised by teaching staff, so they're there able to help if they need any help with prep or homework. They also get the sporting academies, which we've mentioned. Junior school, they can choose 2 a day. Senior school, they can choose 3 a day. So again, it's about offering them a wide range of opportunities, which they can take full.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
full
And I think it also plays within to create that vehicle that you were talking about, the vehicle of safety.
Definitely. It creates that vehicle of safety for sure. It's familiar for them. The setting is familiar.
Yeah.
The people are familiar. They're in the daytime with them, and then they're into the evening with them as well. Yeah. It's a real sense of community we've created here within Uppingham Cairo, and the day boarding program is really unique to that. It really underpins that sense of community as well.
Yeah. And do you feel like it gives more time maybe to instill like I keep thinking of resilience, because resilience needs experience and needs time and needs like different settings to be able to for it to be taught, you know.
And we, throughout our extended day, pupils, they have more experiences here. They have more opportunities to need resilience. They have opportunities to succeed every day. They have opportunities to fail every day.
Yeah.
But we're giving them the tools to build resilience. And by having them for longer, it enables us to do that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Do you think young people today are struggling more with like presence and focus?
I think so, and I think it's a technology-based society which we're in. And again, I'll loop that back to the phones. Not having the phones within school, it allows our pupils to build those relationships, which are so important, and have those conversations which they might not usually have if they're attached to phones or other tech at home. But taking them away, it gives them the opportunities to build relationships within school time.
And also build those relationships through movement within sports, within a sports setting. So it's not only social skills. It's more, I think it's much more than that.
Yeah, and the school at Uppingham Cairo in every aspect is geared towards that. They all eat together, they all work together, they play sports together, and it really it all points to that direction. It's a good environment for them to be in. So
I'm going to move now to Uppingham Cairo being a character building school system. It focuses so much on certain characteristics and traits to build and instill within the students. So what do you think are the most prominent traits that comes from sports beyond athletic excellence?
So definitely resilience. Like I've said, in sport, you're going to succeed, you're going to fail. It's inevitable. But being able to move forward onto the next stage and keep going, it's vital. But it's not just in sport; it's in everyday life. You need to take that skill with you wherever you go. I think that's probably the most important. Is resilience. Communication skills are important, and they come from all sports, and that's again something which is taken into life in general. Yeah.
And do you think leadership is one of them?
Leadership, definitely, and that's something which is nurtured in sport.
Because not everyone can be a leader by nature. I mean, it's something that you need to develop, right?
Yeah, it needs to be developed, but it's developed through sport. I'm a big believer that anybody can lead in a sports setting.
Yeah.
I think people in general, some people are naturally leaders, but when we get into the sports, it's a level playing field, and people then can lead from there. People who you might not think would be leaders, they come to the fore.
That's very interesting.
In sport.
Can you elaborate a little bit?
I just think people have confidence in sport, and through ability they can show confidence they might not in other areas, and it comes out through sport, and it can be leadership. And that doesn't mean standing up and putting your hand up and taking charge of things. It's showing people that you can do something, and they see that as a positive thing, and then they feel led by somebody doing that and being a role model in that respect.
Yeah, I love that. So maybe leadership can also take different forms.
Definitely.
Because we're very familiar with the leader, you always judge a leader by being maybe loud, or they stand out very very clearly. But there are obviously
there's different forms of leadership. I think in sport, it's not about the person who's shouting the loudest. It's those who are doing and showing, and that's real leadership as well. Is to see people doing that, and then people follow it.
Yeah,
they follow it.
I can't help but wonder as well if self-management or regulation, emotional regulation, and having control over your mind. I think this is something that is very much taught in sports.
Definitely. In sport, emotional regulation is so important. And we've spoken about participation and performance-based athletes, but if you look into a performance scenario, everybody who's performing in the top has emotional regulation and the ability, and it's something which pupils find difficult at a younger age. But that's, again, the way we can create the environment for them where they feel supported and safe is integral for that emotional development. They know that the coaches here are there to support them. They know that they're helping them and working towards that emotional safety and regulation.
Yes, but it's fantastic also to know that the top athletes are the ones who can actually contain their emotions the most. Like this is part of why they actually excel and become.
It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. People naturally aren't emotionally regulated when it comes to sport because it's a competitive environment. It's pressured. It takes
not
time.
at all.
It takes time to learn and manage, and it needs guidance. I've said earlier on in the conversation, it needs to be nurtured. If it's not nurtured, it can go in a negative way. So that positivity gives them the confidence to know that they can manage their emotions, and then their performance will increase from
Fantastic. Because I would think like for athletic excellence, we're looking for grit, for strength, for it's other traits that I've been thinking about, and now I'm like really surprised that this conversation has taken us to that. The core of it is actually containing yourself and being able to focus and perform.
Yeah, the performance-based focus and containing your emotions is integral in sports performance. The other bits are all add-ons. You can work really hard physically, but if you can't manage your emotions, you won't succeed in sport at a high level.
Is character taught?
It's built. It's built. Character's built. It's nurtured. It's developed. And we do at Uppingham Cairo. We develop character by giving our pupils the experiences to then develop from the competitive settings we put them in. We give to them. It all develops their character. And we're here for them every step of the way on that journey.
So Liam, you're the Director of Sport and Enrichment. We've talked about sports. What is enrichment?
So enrichment is the offering we give to our pupils on a co-curricular basis. So this sits outside of the academic day, and it's about giving them a real holistic education. It's offering them a broad range of opportunities to experience something they might enjoy and then they might take further on outside of school. So
it's what are the examples of like the activities, maybe?
So depending on which part of the school you fall into depends on which opportunities are available. So we run two different programs. Our junior school get to select from the Upstart program, which is a co-curricular program for the junior school, and the senior school they get to select from the Up and Out program. The Upstart program offers a wide range of co-curricular clubs for our junior school, from arts to drama, science-based clubs, computer-based clubs. The list is endless. And we also offer British Scouts, which goes through the junior school into the senior school as well. Once we move into the
do they go camping and stuff, or
they will do? We've just kind of, we're in the second year of our program, so that's something we'll work towards. Our Duke of Edinburgh cohort this year will do their bronze award. They will actually go to Wales to do their hike and camp over.
Oh wow!
And they went for a practice walk to prepare for that. That's something we offer in the Up and Out program for our pupils. The Duke of Edinburgh is something we set up, and our first cohort will go through this year and take their bronze award.
That's fantastic. And the Up and Out is for the seniors?
Up and Out's for seniors, yeah. And they both take place from 3:30 till 4:30 every day.
Oh, that's fantastic. And then this is the day board. Basically, this is the structure of the day boarding.
Yeah, so
how it goes.
I'll give
right?
you an overview of how the day might look depending on which part of the school you're in.
Okay,
So if
thanks.
you're in the junior school from the 5s to the top year, which would be 11 years old, you can pick from 3:30 to 4:30 a co-curricular club. At 4:30, then you can have afternoon tea, and then from 4:45 to 5:45 you'll have a sporting academy. Then you'd get another sporting academy choice to 6:45. Then you would have supper, and then you'll go home at 7 p.m. If you're in the senior school, the day looks similar with the 3:30 till 4:30 for the up and out program. Afternoon tea is the same, but then you would go into prep, which is homework, and teachers supervise that and help students with prep. After prep, they would get to choose one sporting academy to start with. Then they would have supper, and then they get 2 sporting academies after that from 7 to 9 p.m. And then at 9 p.m. they can then leave for the day.
That's fantastic. And that will move them into an array, like they have to choose from an array of sports academies, correct?
Yeah, so all of our sporting academies, we're linked with numerous partners, and each pupil can choose to have a session per day of each one of those sports which we offer.
Yeah. Like, what are the academies?
So we have Rafa Nadal tennis, we have Chelsea football, NBA basketball, we have best swimming, we have rhythmic gymnastics with Paulina Nikolova, we have squash with Noor Shabini, we have King's Polo.
That's fantastic. What is the academy that the students gravitate towards the most?
I think just because of the landscape in Egypt, it's football.
I'm sure. I was sure.
Tennis is hugely popular as well.
Yeah. I'm sure because it's like a state-of-the-art academy as well.
Yeah, the tennis program is very good, but all of the programs are. The coaching team are fantastic.
So can you tell me a little bit about your career and what brought you here? How long have you been in Egypt?
So I've been in Egypt for 2 years. Previously to that, I was in Indonesia, where I was teaching over there. And before that, I was in the UK teaching. But before I moved into teaching, I was in a sports background, more performance-based, in rugby. Was my sporting background. And
you were a player? Or?
Yeah, I used to play, yeah. And then from transitioning to finishing playing was when I moved into coaching and teaching from there.
It's a lovely transition. What pushed you into that? As opposed to sports management, maybe, or
it was a natural progression. I really enjoyed being on the pitch and playing throughout all of my life, and then the focus moved into helping others, and if I could help them feel like I felt when I was playing sport, that was something which I take huge pride in, and it was a real driver in me moving into what I do today.
Yeah. And you said you've mentioned you've been in Indonesia?
Yes,
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of interesting stories or learnings.
Yeah, it was a different environment, but it was also an environment where we were able to learn and develop my skills, and then it's given me the tools with what I'm here for today. It stood me in good stead.
What's the most fulfilling part of your career?
I think it's the program we have here. I'm hugely proud of the dayboarding program. I think it's a unique offering, and it's something which is really positive to be part of and to see. People often ask me about, what's the best part of the day or for you? And I always say the same thing. The best part of the day for me is around 6 p.m. when the sporting academies are taking place, and I can walk around the campus and see all of the opportunities which our pupils get on a daily basis. And that gives me huge satisfaction to see that.
That's fantastic. Sports for life.
Sports for life. That's it. That's the ethos.
So that's beautifully said, Liam. Thank you for sharing that. Last closing question. When you imagine the students you graduate from Uppingham Cairo, what is the thing that you want to leave them with? And don't say sports for life.
I'll try not to.
Yeah.
I want them to have a real sense of passion for what they've achieved within school and what we've helped them achieve here through sports. I think they can recognise the value which the sports programme has given them, and then they can take that into their everyday life. I think if they can do that and they can draw on those experiences we've created and given them, then we'll feel like we've done a good job for them.
Thank you, Liam. It was truly a pleasure having this conversation with you. And it really did change a little bit of my views to see how sports can change from being an environment of competition and maybe a little bit of aggression into something that can actually make students excel and discover who they are. Thank you very much for that change in perspective.
Thank you, Yara. Thank you for having me. It's been great to talk to you. And if you ever are around in the evenings, please come and look at what we're doing here. Yeah. It's truly special.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And maybe sports was not just about winning, because if students learn how to work well with others, manage themselves, and keep going through challenges, then maybe we're preparing them for so much more than sports. And perhaps this is the true purpose of education. Thank you for joining me on another episode of Education Reimagined, and stay tuned for more.